It's Tuesday, February 10th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, NB Power tells hearings the province needs a controversial gas plant for its future. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And Get Up There. We get details on the annual Get Up There fundraiser in support of colorectal cancer research.
Plus, it's Safer Internet Day, an ideal time to learn how to protect your family while surfing the web. All that and so much more just ahead on the Tuesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning. Come on in. It is almost 6:01 on this Tuesday, February 10th. So glad you can join us. Now, at home, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a subtle nod towards Valentine's Day happening on our show. It began yesterday, and it's building as the week continues. I can't wait until Friday.
Oh, the big day. Well, I mean, the day before the big day.
Well, Valentine's Day is Saturday, but Friday is the last day on our show. But I just, by Friday, Amanda's going to have like a full heart gown, rose petals sprinkled on the set.
Listen, I can bring in a few little decor pieces if you want. Give me a theme and I'll run with it. I actually have to be careful. I have this dress and it's perfect for Valentine's Day. It's navy and red and it's got a bunch of little hearts on it, but they're subtle. But I think, okay, well, you can't wear it on Valentine's Day for another year in a row. Like, let's mix it up a little bit. I got variety.
Why mix it up?
It ain't broke.
It ain't broke. How often do you get to wear that fun dress? In any case, if I were wearing that dress or any other dress today, I would cover it up with a coat, maybe a scarf and hat. You and I came in at the same time and we were just shivering all the way in.
Yes. Yeah. Even Crystal was saying, it's the wind that gets you. Seriously.
It really is.
Exactly that this morning.
It really is.
Still have a bite in the air remaining, but you know, today's forecast is okay, pretty much the same as yesterday, a bit of sunshine. Also seeing flurry activity. Tomorrow's forecast is what we're looking out for. We have another Alberta Clipper, fast-moving system moving back in. Look at Crystal's face. She's like, well, I don't want to hear it anymore.
This is the thing. But you know what? The Alberta Clipper is the weather system I'd most likely go out dancing with. Right. Just feels fun.
Yeah.
It's
quick,
fun.
Moves right through.
Exactly.
And this sounds more like Wednesday afternoon.
No, Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
Early Wednesday morning. So kind of like overnight where we're kind of heading out to work.
Like tonight, if you will.
Basically,
Several hours from now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, we'll follow what you have to do. I know you've got a lot of weather to get to, so.
This is why we go to this.
Let's not talk about it. No, we do have a special weather statement in effect because of that across Nova Scotia, where it's going to hit the most, right?
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll take a look at Hampton early this morning. You can see we do have a bit of flurry activity early in the morning. It's a bit breezy as well starting off your day. Just something to keep in mind when you are heading out. Like Crystal mentioned, layer up because that is the key today. It is cold early this morning. Minus 10 degrees over in Hampton and minus 10 as well in Fredericton. Minus 4 degrees starting off your day in Charlottetown. Minus 6 in Halifax. 0 in Sydney and St. John's, Newfoundland. Over to the wind chill, that's still a factor into today's forecast. Keep that in mind as well. There is a risk of frostbite over in Edmundston. As well as Newfoundland and Labrador, still seeing that wind chill quite cold as well. A risk of frostbite over in Labrador City. So here's a look at that special weather statement in effect for much of Nova Scotia. Wednesday early morning into Thursday morning, we could see around 10 to 25 centimeters of accumulation with this system. But for today's forecast, we do have lingering flurry activity for parts of the Maritime region, a bit of sunshine as the sun begins to rise as well. And then for Newfoundland and Labrador, also going to see a bit of flurry activity and a bit of mixed precipitation starting off your day. Here's a look at the current wind across the Maritime region. As of right now, it is 35 kilometers per hour in Sydney, 48 in Canso, 24 in Charlottetown, 22 in North Cape, and 26 in Halifax. Wind gusts of up to 52 kilometers per hour right now in Sydney, 37 into Charlottetown, 30 in Grand Manan. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. A local politician and his wife in Campbellton, New Brunswick, have died in a snowmobile accident. The crash happened Sunday, taking the lives of community councillor Gaétan Cormier and his wife, Rosemarie Charret. In a statement, the acting mayor expressed deep sadness about the news, expressing condolences to the family, calling it a tragedy for the entire Campbellton regional community. Prior to being elected to council in 2022, volunteer firefighter Cormier had served as an alderman for Atholville. Rosemarie was a retired employee of Campbellton Regional Hospital. A 19-year-old has been arrested after a stabbing incident in downtown Halifax Sunday night. It happened early Sunday on Spring Garden Road. Police say the victim, also 19 years old, was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was arrested nearby. Brennan Herdman is facing charges of attempted murder and assault with a weapon. Investigators say the two men don't know each other, but did get into some kind of dispute before the incident. Social media posts were the focus of the ongoing Jansen Baker double murder trial in Moncton. A civilian expert for the RCMP who examined thousands of Facebook messages as part of the investigation was cross-examined Monday. Many of the messages revolved around the arrest of Jesse Logue, who was charged with drug and firearm offenses following the massive police operation. Court heard Logue's associates also frequently discussed Silvio Sagne, the son of Bernard and Rose Marie, who were shot to death in their home in Dieppe in 2019. Previous testimony suggested people in those circles were convinced the younger Sagne was a police informant. The former CEO of the region's children's hospital has been granted bail as she seeks to appeal her fraud conviction. Tracy Kitch was locked up just last week after having twice been convicted of fraud for using her corporate credit card to pay for personal expenses. A conservative estimate of more than $30,000 was the evidence presented at trial, although Kitch did pay back the money before the first trial. Her release Monday came with conditions.
She's surrendering her passport to remain in the country, and that satisfies us that she'll surrender into custody and any residual concerns we have about public confidence in her release.
Kitch was released on a $20,000 surety. The case heads back to court in the fall. Halifax Transit is weighing in on the city's traffic problems. The service has unveiled an ambitious proposal with route changes and more buses to make commutes faster and more reliable. Reaction from councillors is mixed.
This is the first time I've read transit reports and was actually excited and optimistic about the future.
Profound disappointment. I mean, if you're in Prospect or St. Margaret's Bay, this represents a letdown.
Staff say reallocating buses or drivers would be difficult, so new resources are needed. The plan calls for $75 million, mostly for 30 new buses, with the remaining $22 million for operations, a total hike of about $64 to the average tax bill over 3 years. Hearings continue today into whether a gas plant near Sackville, New Brunswick should be approved. NB Power execs are in the hot seat at the Energy and Utilities Board hearing, facing questions on why a controversial natural gas-fired generation plant in the Tantramar area is necessary. NB Power is facing an energy shortfall by 2028, so they've entered into an agreement with American company ProEnergy, which would build and operate the plant, selling up to 500 megawatts back to the Crown Corporation. The panel was asked how much it will cost taxpayers to buy back the power. Chief Commercial Officer Brad Cody wouldn't give an exact figure, citing confidentiality, but said the plant itself is estimated to cost ProEnergy over $1 billion to build. So it's likely to cost the utility more than $1 billion. ProEnergy wants the EUB's approvals by June, or it could walk away. This hearing continues all week. A two-part inquiry is being planned to look into last year's cyber attack at Nova Scotia Power. The Nova Scotia Energy Board says one set of hearings will examine the technical aspects of the March 2025 cyber attack, while a separate investigation will look at how the utility collected and stored customer data and how it estimated bills for months after losing communication with power meters. The cyber attack saw the personal information of 280,000 customers accessed by a Russian-based actor, prompting a slew of complaints about large, unexpected bills. Finally, to the skies now, WestJet is adding more flights to the east based on customer demand. 7 routes from Halifax to Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Regina, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver will operate through the summer. The announcement comes as the airline dropped numerous routes from western cities to the United States because of slumping demand. But because of this, we're seeing an increase in 7 different routes between Canadian cities. Good to know if you're planning on going anywhere this summer, because you know, a lot of people are already starting to say, okay, what are we doing for March break?
Absolutely.
What are we going to do for the summer?
Yeah.
What are our vacation plans for this year?
If you're a Maritimer or an Atlantic Canadian, you want to get that guest room ready. Get the air mattress, because you're going to have company this summer.
Yeah.
People love coming out here. I love that, too.
Yeah, me too.
Yay. Okay, guess what? Horses are set to grab the spotlight for this year's Lunar New Year celebrations. Operators of Taiwan's main zoo are expecting big crowds this year. Their endangered wild horses, since February 17th, will bring about the Year of the Horse. And at one point, hardly any of these horses remained in the wild, but they're slowly being reintroduced, with 850 now across China and Mongolia. But it is Year of the Horse, so all horses are going to be in the spotlight this year.
Absolutely. They're quite beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Of course, you have our wild horses. Sable Island.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we do. Also a precious ecosystem we need to protect.
This is a bigger variety of horse than the ones on Sable Island.
Oh, big time.
They're really cool. But they have the larger head. Like the skull is different than a domestic horse. Very interesting.
Wow.
Anyway, I had a massage last week, and the massage therapist was kind of a little bit of an astrologist as well. And she said that last year, the year we're finishing up, Year of the Snake, it's about shedding the skin.
Yeah.
The Year of the Horse is about taking action on your dreams.
I love that.
So let's harness that energy. Yes. Love that.
Saddle up for that.
Exactly.
All right, still ahead, we're going to have your first look at your national and international news headlines on this Tuesday morning. And Latavia will have the latest look at the forecast and details on the next round of snow heading our way, and any watches and warnings that could come with that. It is quiet in downtown Fredericton this morning, just outside City Hall near the water. The forecast is next.
Happy Tuesday, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 6:14. We're taking a live look at St. John's, Newfoundland. A very wet start to your day, expecting periods of drizzle early this morning with a risk of freezing drizzle. Currently 0 in your area. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca. We are seeing another cold start to the day, especially when you factor in that wind chill and the breezy wind we're seeing across the region. As of right now, it is minus 13 degrees, heading outdoors in Fredericton, minus 4 in Charlottetown, minus 6 degrees in Halifax, 0 in Sydney, minus 31 over in Labrador City. We do have a special weather statement in effect for much of Nova Scotia. This is for Wednesday morning into Thursday morning. We could potentially see 10 to 25 centimeters of accumulation due to an Alberta clipper heading our way. So here's a look at our current forecast. As the sun begins to rise, we will be seeing sunshine again for parts of the Maritime region, also holding on to a bit of flurry activity. But then for Newfoundland and Labrador, still seeing some lighter snowfall. Newfoundland seeing mixed precipitation, flurries and or showers starting off your day with that risk of freezing drizzle as well. Into the afternoon, much of the same, expected seeing a bit more sunshine in parts of Labrador as that snow starts to clear out. And then into the evening, overnight hours, just a bit of cloud coverage for parts of the Maritime region. For Newfoundland, still holding on to a bit of mixed precipitation. Labrador still seeing some light snowfall. And then we have this low pressure system making its way over. This is the Alberta Clipper. Very fast moving. Is going to start to make its way over across the Maritime region. But the heaviest of this system will be into parts of Nova Scotia. Like I mentioned, 10 to 25 centimeters of accumulation. Starting early in the morning, though, as you can see, around 2:45 a.m. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, this is for today into early tomorrow morning. We're looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters starting off with this system. And then for Newfoundland, Labrador, still holding on to around 1 to 5 centimeters of additional snowfall. Here's our forecast today for New Brunswick. Seeing lots of sunshine throughout your day. Snow arrives into the early morning hours of Wednesday. We do have daytime highs between -4 to +1. For Prince Edward Island, looking at highs between -4 to -2 degrees. Flurries starting off your day, that will clear out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon, wind gusts of 50 kilometers per hour. Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, pretty much the same, but we're going to see mainly cloudy skies as flurries clear out into the afternoon. Highs will range from -3 to +1. For the rest of Nova Scotia, daytime highs between -2 to 3 degrees, the warmest into Shelburne. A mix of sun and cloud throughout the day today, snow into the evening. And then for Labrador City, a high of -15 degrees, seeing sunshine, but increasing cloudiness into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies. And 2 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at periods of drizzle with a risk of freezing drizzle as well. So Wednesday's forecast, as I had mentioned, this system is going to pretty much cover most of the maritime region and will continue to travel east into early Thursday morning. That's when we start to see the system slowly break down for the maritime region. Still holding on to some snowfall into Thursday afternoon, though. Bit of mixed precipitation yet again for Newfoundland and for Labrador, seeing snow as well. And then into Thursday night, still holding on to a bit of mixed precipitation for parts of the region. So that's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda for your national and international news headlines.
Thanks, Latavia. The ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Canada have escalated with new threats from U.S. President Donald Trump that could set back the opening of a new bridge that connects the two countries. The bridge in question is the Gordie Howe Bridge between Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, which is currently under construction. Late yesterday, in a social media post, President Trump says he will not allow a bridge between Ontario and Michigan to open until his country is, quote, fully compensated, and goes on to say the U.S. should own at least one half of the asset. The $6.4 billion cost of the bridge has been entirely funded by Canada's federal government. But the bridge is under the public joint ownership of Canada and the state of Michigan. The crisis in Cuba is deepening, with the country now warning of a shortage of jet fuel. Some airlines are implementing contingency plans or outright suspending flights to the island. This all comes after Canada issued a heightened travel warning for Cuba. CTV's Heather Wright has the latest.
Beginning Tuesday, jet fuel will no longer be available to international airlines in Cuba. The latest sign of the devastating impact the U.S. fuel blockade is having on the Caribbean nation.
We came to Cuba knowing what to expect. There's some things you'll have every day, some things you won't. I mean, that's a norm for here.
But what has been the norm is deteriorating quickly, with widespread shortages of food, fuel, and medicine. Air Canada announced today it is suspending services to Cuba, focusing instead on repatriating the roughly 3,000 passengers who are still there. This all comes as Cuba experiences the worst economic crisis in nearly 70 years.
We don't get to see how it truly affects the Cuban life on the island.
For decades, Venezuela had been the primary source of oil for Cuba, a source that was cut off when the United States captured Venezuela's president in January. Then U.S. President Donald Trump said he would impose tariffs on any country that sells or provides oil to Cuba, further depleting its sources of fuel. Some experts say Cuba is on the brink.
By the typical definition of what we think of as a failed state, Cuba is sort of on the cusp of it.
The government has closed hotels in Veradero and is consolidating tourists to save on resources. Fuel sales are being limited, while school and business hours have also been reduced. Cuba has said it is open to negotiating with the United States to end this oil blockade. Meanwhile, the government is warning its citizens to prepare for hard times beyond what they are experiencing now. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And Catherine O'Hara's cause of death has been released 1 week after the Canadian comedic actress died at the age of 71. O'Hara died on January 30th from a pulmonary embolism, with rectal cancer listed as an underlying cause, according to the LA County death certificate. It's unclear how long the Canadian icon was battling cancer.
They were all feeling the same way I did.
A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we will have your top business headlines and your must-see moment from TSN. That's on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
All right, it's 6:24, almost 6:25, and that is our time to check in with our friends at TSN Sports Center for today's must-see moment.
Hello there, Adam Scully inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. And for it, we go to Boston College hockey. Boston taking on Boston College in the Beanpot. Brady Berard in on the breakaway. Absolutely robbed by Mikhail Yegorov. Flashes the glove, making a fantastic save. No NHL going on, but still some great hockey highlights. That is your must-see moment from Monday. And tonight it's the NBA on TSN. Pacers taking on the Knicks. Tip-off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That's all now from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
This TSN must-see moment brought to you by J.R. Rahe's Furniture and Appliances.
Now over to your business headlines from our colleagues over at BNN.
Shares of Air Canada ended the day in the red after the airline suspended flights to Cuba. Air Canada says the decision is because of an ongoing shortage of fuel on the island. The airline says it will be sending empty flights down to Cuba to return around 3,000 passengers. Shares of Air Canada ended the day down almost 5%. And the Canadian dollar is up 60 cents to end the day to 73.76. West Texas Intermediate climbed to 64.36. Western Canadian Select is up 47 cents to 48.04. And the TSX climbed to end the day ending just above 33,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Taking a look at our 3-day forecast, starting off in New Brunswick, a high of -3 degrees today. Lots of sunshine across the province. Snow moves in into the evening. On Wednesday, snow continues throughout the day with a high of -1, -5 degrees on Thursday, looking at a mix of sun and cloud with increasing cloudiness. Nova Scotia looking at a high of -1 today, mainly cloudy skies. Clouds clear, leaving a bit of sunshine. Also seeing some scattered flurries for parts of the province. Then on Wednesday, snow throughout the day with a high of 0, -3 degrees on Thursday. Cloudy skies with snow yet again. For Prince Edward Island, looking at a high of -5. We do have flurries starting off the day clearing, leaving sunshine into the afternoon. On Wednesday, -3 with snow. Snow continues on Thursday.
Just ahead in this half hour, the Move Morning Chat. Do you like spicy food? We want you to share what's the spiciest thing you've ever tried. That's in about 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Some like it hot and some simply don't. And sometimes you're surprised by the food and how spicy it's going to be. We'll have that conversation with our friends Aaron and Peter on the Move Morning Chat coming up in just 15 minutes. But before that, we got news and weather to get to, and a fairly calm-ish this morning, Latavia, when it comes to the weather. But Wednesday is really the big day we're keeping an eye out on. Well, we're keeping an eye on right
Absolutely. Now. So for Newfoundland, they're getting a bit of a mixed precipitation today, and on top of it, a bit icy starting off the day. Just something to keep in mind for them. Yes, tomorrow for the Maritime region, we are going to see an Alberta Clipper move back in, pretty fast moving, and it will make its way over to Newfoundland and Labrador. So we do have potential of some snowfall totals higher than 1 to 5 centimeters, looking around 10 to 25.
Okay, wow, all right.
That's a lot, but it's not like wild.
No, and the thing is, the temperatures are warming up above seasonal tomorrow, so that's going to help with a lot of that melting away and not really accumulating that much, but we'll kind of see. That's what we're thinking it's going to be, potentially. We'll see what actually
happens. We'll be prepared, and then we'll see what actually happens.
Exactly, yeah, because I'm like, it's a little tricky, that one.
It always is.
Here's a live look at Lunenburg early this morning. It is -6 degrees starting off your day. That is not factoring in that wind chill, a bit breezy as well for parts of Atlantic Canada. Something to keep in mind when you are heading out, make sure to layer up. -13 degrees starting off your day in Fredericton, -4 in Charlottetown, 0 in Sydney and St. John's, Newfoundland. Here's a look at that wind chill. We do have a risk of frostbite early this morning for parts of northern New Brunswick as well as the parts of Labrador. We are going to see a special weather statement continue from now until Thursday morning. We are expecting that Alberta Clipper to bring us some potential snowfall, and totals accumulating could get up to 25 centimeters. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. As the sun begins to rise, we will be seeing sunshine for parts of the maritime region, also holding on to some lingering flurry activity. And then Newfoundland and Labrador seeing some light snowfall, mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland today. Here's a look at the current wind across the Maritimes. As of right now, 43 kilometers per hour in Canso, 35 in Sydney. Looking at 22 in North Cape, 20 into Charlottetown. Wind gusts of up to 54 kilometers per hour in Canso, 52 in Sydney, 37 in Charlottetown, and 31 in North Cape. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast just ahead. First, a look at your local news with Amanda.
Hearings will continue today into whether a gas plant near Sackville, New Brunswick should be approved. The project has been controversial, but NB Power maintains it is necessary for the province's future. CTV's Laura Brown reports.
NB Power executives were in the hot seat at this Energy and Utilities Board hearing, peppered with questions on why a natural gas-fired generation plant in the Tantramar area is necessary.
We're looking at one project to address this.
This is the problem NB Power is facing, an energy shortfall by 2028. So they've entered into an agreement with American company Pro Energy, which would build and operate the plant, selling up to 500 megawatts back to the Crown Corp. But the project has been divisive from the start. The surrounding community very vocal about their concerns, protesting outside the hearing this morning. Back inside, the panel was asked just how much it will cost taxpayers to buy back the power. Chief Commercial Officer Brad Cody wouldn't give an exact figure, citing confidentiality. He said the plant itself is estimated to cost Pro Energy over $1 billion to build. So it's likely to cost the utility more than $1 billion, Cody said.
We would also have to cover the proponent's operation and maintenance, the cost of the financing of the project, including return on equity and return on debt for that, plus any insurances.
The utility is also working on a deadline. Pro Energy wants the EUB's approvals by June, or it could walk away. This hearing continues all week. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
And a two-part inquiry is being planned to look into last year's cyber attack at Nova Scotia Power. The Nova Scotia Energy Board says one set of hearings will examine the technical aspects of the March 2025 cyber attack, while a separate investigation will look at how the utility collected and stored customer data and how it estimated bills for months after losing communication with power meters. The cyber attack saw the personal information of 280,000 customers accessed by a Russian-based actor, prompting a slew of complaints about large, unexpected bills. A local politician and his wife in Hamilton, New Brunswick, have died in a snowmobile accident. The crash happened Sunday, taking the lives of community councillor Gaétan Cormier and his wife, Rose-Marie Géret. In a statement, the acting mayor expressed deep sadness about the news, expressing condolences to the family, calling it a tragedy for the entire Campbellton regional community. Prior to being elected to council in 2022, volunteer firefighter Cormier had served as an alderman for Atholville. Rose-Marie was a retired employee of Campbellton Regional Hospital. The former CEO of the region's Children's Hospital has been granted bail as she seeks to appeal her fraud conviction. Tracy Kitch was locked up just last week after having twice been convicted of fraud for using her corporate credit card to pay for personal expenses. A conservative estimate of more than $30,000 was the evidence presented at trial, although Kitch did pay back the money before the first trial. Her release Monday came with conditions.
She's surrendering her passport to remain in the country, and that satisfies us that she'll surrender into custody, and any residual concerns we have about public confidence in her release.
Kitch was released on a $20,000 surety. The case heads back to court in the fall. After 4 years and nearly $4 million, renovations are complete at the West St. John Addiction Treatment Facility. Upgrades were made in 3 phases to 3 buildings at the Ridge Addiction and Mental Health Campus. There are more beds, more options for treatment and counseling, and upgrades like a revamped teaching kitchen and sensory room.
The programs and the services, we used our evidence-based and trauma-informed process to ensure that everything is really designed with the client in mind, and that the services that we're able to offer are really going to meet all of their unique needs and really help them on their recovery path.
The price tag was split between the province, the Health Authority, and the St. John Hospital Foundation. Finally, Canada's women's hockey team remains unbeaten at the 2026 Winter Olympics after a 5-1 win over Czechia. The second win in a row comes as Marie-Philippe Poulin left in the first period after a hard check and did not return to the ice. Not much rest for Canada. Canada is back in action against the U.S. today. You can bet that's going to be a game many Canadians and Americans and the world will be watching.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And these games still really just starting.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun to be able to watch the sports happening in this, especially when it's cold out. The comfort of your own warm living room.
Yeah.
All right, more Aurora Borealis photos, but this from a unique perspective.
Cool.
Okay? NASA scientists have shared this incredible perspective of the auroras in action. Their time-lapse shows green auroras dancing across the Earth, as well as the orange glow of our atmosphere. It's a great reminder of how Earth is constantly interactive with space, far beyond what we can see here on the ground. Imagine seeing this perspective. You kind of forget that we're just clinging on to the side of this Earth.
Right?
Thank you, gravity.
Like little ants.
Exactly.
It's so cool to see.
That's really cool.
Wow. It does look like something out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. And they're really cool from the earthly perspective, too.
Wow. We're lucky we get to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, still ahead, we're going to have your entertainment headlines on this Tuesday morning. But before that, it is time for the Move Morning Chat. Today, we want to know, what's the spiciest food you've ever tried? Is it wasabi? Is it something else? We're going to share our stories and want to hear from you next.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada, and happy Tuesday. The time now is 6:42. We're taking a live look at Charlottetown. -4 degrees starting off the day. We do have a few flurries before clearing out, leaving sunshine in your area a little bit later this morning. A cold start to the day for parts of the region. As of right now, it is -13 degrees over in Fredericton, -6 starting off your day in Halifax, 0 in Sydney, -7 degrees over in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and 0 also starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. Over to the special weather statement in effect for much of Nova Scotia. Wednesday into Thursday morning, we are expecting an Alberta Clipper heading our way. Quite fast moving in its activity, though. We're looking at around 10 to 25 centimeters of accumulation. So here's a look at our forecast timeline. Today, as the sun begins to rise, we do have sunshine in the forecast for parts of the Maritime region. Also holding on to a bit of flurry activity starting off your day. For Labrador, looking at some flurry activity, light snowfall as well. And then Newfoundland, looking at some mixed precipitation throughout your day. Risk of freezing drizzle early this morning. We do have flurries and or showers for much of Newfoundland into the afternoon. And much of the same expected for all three Maritime provinces. Into this evening, pretty clear skies across parts of the Maritimes. Still a bit of a cloudier night ahead for parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. We are going to see some lingering mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland. Labrador still holding on to some light snowfall. Into early Wednesday morning, we do have a system making its way over this Alberta Clipper. As I mentioned, fast moving right across the Maritime region. The heaviest of that impact is expected across Nova Scotia. Here's a look at our current snowfall totals. As of right now, we're going to see around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. This is early Wednesday morning. Also going to see around 1 to 5 centimeters for North Mountain, 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation as well for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. Lots of sunshine today across New Brunswick. We do have snow arriving into the evening. Daytime highs will range from -4 to +1. Wind pretty light out of the northwest, 20 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island, highs between -4 to -2. A few flurries starting off your day, clearing out later this morning, leaving a mix of sun and cloud for the remainder of the day. Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, going to see around -3 to +1 for our daytime highs. Looking at flurries, clearing out, leaving mainly cloudy skies. For the rest of Nova Scotia, sunshine throughout your day. We do have snow into the evening. Daytime highs between -2 to +3 and wind gusts of 40. For Labrador City, looking at a mix of sun and cloud today, increasing cloudiness into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies, a high of -15 degrees today, 2 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland. Looking at periods of drizzle, also seeing a risk of some freezing drizzle. So into Wednesday's forecast, as I had mentioned, this system will be quite fast moving across the maritime region, making its way over to parts of Newfoundland and Labrador, also seeing some snowfall into Thursday. And then Thursday afternoon, this system still holding on to parts of Prince Edward Island, parts of Nova Scotia, and over to Newfoundland and Labrador, still seeing a bit of mixed precipitation. So that's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to the Move Morning Chat.
Hey, it's time for the Move Morning Chat with our friends Aaron and Peter, back in their sweaters, back home in Halifax. Before we get to the Move question of the day, we want to ask you guys, did you have a great time?
Oh my goodness, yes, so much fun in Turks and Caicos for sure.
And we still have a ton of trips to give away to beaches, so Move 100, tune in.
Fantastic, happy to hear that. It looked hot down there. We're talking about hot food this morning. What is the spiciest food you've ever tried? Was there something you ate down there that was super spicy?
Well, for me, it was, although it was used in just the right amount, but I was so afraid. I am such a wimp when it comes to hot food. I can't do it. I just can't. Terrible things happen to me when I eat it. However, again, it was used in the right amount, I think, in Turks and Caicos. It was a dish that the executive sous chef brought to us for our Foodie Friday segment that we do every week, where we try out some new and sometimes crazy food. Well, this was conch. It was a conch that was served in turmeric and curry and Scotch bonnet pepper. A specialty, especially in the Caribbean. And I was so scared. But I dove right in and I had a huge portion of this conch with Scotch bonnet pepper. My relief, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but it was still pretty darn hot. And as I said, I'm a real wimp when it comes to that sort of thing. Scotch bonnet pepper, spiciest, hottest food I've ever tried.
I could tell right away looking at Peter's face. I just saw it slowly get more red and red and red as he tried the dish. But I was thinking about the spiciest food I've ever tried, and I love spice. Unlike Peter, I search out the spice. The spicier, the better. However, I'm not sure if you two have ever tried anything called buldak ramen. It is ramen that went viral for a long time. It still is quite viral. I love ramen. It's just a noodle dish that you kind of stir fry, but the spice sauce that comes with it, I'm warning you right now, if you ever try this specific type of ramen, you got to start with like a drop of the spice sauce, because people put the whole thing in. You feel that in your stomach for days. So that is your warning. Buldak ramen, spiciest thing I've ever had in my life.
Wow, that's a good one. Okay, so I'm trying to think back. When I was in early university, I was trying sushi for the first time, and I was out with my co-workers at the time in early university, and there was this little mound of like a green mush. And I said, "What is this?" And my friend said, "Oh, that's avocado." And I love avocado. No. So I took a big spoonful, like all of it, and put it in my mouth. Of course, you know where this is going. If you have sushi, that is wasabi.
Yeah.
Very, very spicy. That was terrible. It was disgusting. He had a good laugh watching me. I learned my lesson. However, now I do like to take a little bit of wasabi and put it on my sushi, but certainly not just having a spoonful by itself. Lesson learned. Thank you, Luke.
Oh my goodness. That's brutal. Well, for me, I hate spice. I can't really handle much of it. Jerk chicken, I can't even eat when my family cooks it. Like, it's a no-no for me. But the spiciest food I've ever had was a South Asian dish. It's called fall curry. And I was at the table at one of my ex's friend's house, crying at the dinner table while eating. It tastes delicious, but my nose was running, my eyes were like just tearing out. I looked like a fool at this dinner table, and it was so tasty. It was on fire. My mouth was on fire.
Wow, and especially too, if you're a guest, you're like, this is really...
Yeah, I'm like, I swear.
So we want to hear from you. What is the spiciest food you've ever tried? Send us a text at 10400, and we're going to share your answers later in the show.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Welcome back. The time now is 6:53. We're going to head over to Hollywood and take a look at your entertainment headlines.
Baby Yoda is coming to the big screen in The Mandalorian and Grogu. A new trailer aired for the film starring Pedro Pascal and directed by Jon Favreau is set to release on May 22nd. Lucasfilm is owned by Disney, parent company of ABC News. We have our first teaser for season 22 of The Bachelorette, featuring the secret lives of Mormon wives star Taylor Frankie Paul. The new season is set to premiere on ABC on March 22nd, with episodes streaming the next day on Hulu. Disney is the parent company of ABC News, ABC, and Hulu. Noah Kahan's The Great Divide has debuted at #6 on the Billboard Hot 100. The single marks Kahan's first Hot 100 debut in the top 10. Kahan's new album, The Great Divide, is set to release on April 24th, and his new tour is set to launch in June. And happy birthday to Laura Dern, who is 59 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A bit of a foul.
Well, history is repeating itself. The dinosaurs are back at the Museum of Natural History.
CTV's Carl Pomeroy gives us a prehistoric peek at the massive exhibit.
Hi, my name is Jeff Gray. I'm the manager of the Museum of Natural History, and we are here at Dinosaur Exploration 2. Last time in 2024, we had carnivores and we had long-necked dinosaurs. This time we have plated dinosaurs like Stegosaurus and horned dinosaurs like Triceratops. So it's different dinosaurs than we've had here at the museum in the past. It's a lot of people's favorites they've asked about having a chance to see. And so we were excited to be able to bring this exhibit to the museum to continue that story from before. Generally speaking, touring exhibitions are based solely on casts. Original fossils are actually too difficult to travel in this format. And what Research Castings does is that they actually cast from real fossils from museums all over the world, and then they make them available both to those museums and to other museums who don't have a fossil record like that, so that visitors can see them. So Stegosaurus, I think, is one of probably the big five of classic dinosaurs. Has the big plates that go down the top of its back. It's one that people have asked us about being able to bring to the museum for a long time. There is an amazing Allosaurus fight scene that people will be able to see. I think that was going to be a highlight for a lot of people. For our younger visitors, there's a dig box, and you can learn about Nova Scotia dinosaurs as well.
200 million years ago, Nova Scotia was in the center of a supercontinent called Pangaea. We were down towards the equator, and it was much warmer and drier here. There would have been sand dunes, water around lakes, but quite a dry and warm time. I myself am also really interested in trying to draw and promote the value of drawing, so encourage people to bring their sketchbooks and take some time to draw some cool dinosaurs.
They're so prevalent in pop culture, in movies and in documentaries, but to be able to come and stand in front of one and not just see it on your phone or on a computer or on TV, I think makes it more real for people. So there's always a level of excitement about being able to see them in person.
Thank you to CTV's Carl Pomeroy for that piece. Happening now in local news, hearings continue today in Moncton into whether a gas plant near Sackville, New Brunswick should be approved. Plus, a two-part inquiry is being planned to look into last year's cyber attack at Nova Scotia Power. And the former CEO of the region's children's hospital has been granted bail as she seeks to appeal her fraud conviction. We'll have those details coming up next in your local news headlines on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Your Morning Atlantic will be right back. It's Tuesday, February 10th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, NB Power tells hearings the province needs a controversial gas plant for its future. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And and get up there. We'll check in with the co-founders of the annual fundraiser for colorectal cancer research and support. That conversation in about 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic, Canada. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday, February 10th, already.
Yes.
Inching towards Valentine's Day, which is on Saturday.
Yeah, I know. Are you too? I mean, Valentine's Day can be a little controversial sometimes. Some people think it's over commercialized. Some people think it is a great opportunity to break up the winter, have some fun, show some love. Do you two feel any particular way about it?
I don't mind it. Like, it's nice to show love, but I'm not huge on it either.
Yeah.
I think when you're first starting to date someone, you're like, you better go all out on Valentine's Day. Like,
yeah,
that's how I feel about it. But like now it's just like, you know, show me love every day. Appreciate me every day.
That's a great way to be. You know what, I can take it or leave it. Any excuse to have a little fun, I'm there for it.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah.
I told my husband to not get any chocolate this year, though. We're trying to like eat healthier.
Oh,
so
okay.
I thought, let's just go out for dinner, but not on Valentine's Day. Around, we'll find a time. That's
Well,
what
exactly. Yeah. Don't give me chocolate. I'm done with the chocolate as well. But Kyle usually does like flowers and other stuff.
Flowers.
Yeah, you know what I love? Galentine's Day.
Well,
It's just a good excuse to get together with your friends.
Well, listen, if you want to go out all out for Valentine's Day, by all means do it. Make that person's year, because yesterday I did a segment with English Jewelers, which is going to air this week.
Ooh.
Someone had bought a diamond tennis bracelet for their Valentine.
That's up my alley. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So go for it.
Was his name Mike?
I don't know. They were not at liberty to share.
Oh,
but I'm just saying, maybe there might be a little something for you, and I'm sure it's beautiful.
Men, step up your game. Or gals, step it up.
Oh my gosh. Well, they're going to be lucky to make you feel all warm and fuzzy when it's cold outside. I was in Masstown over the weekend, and they had a delicious breakfast sandwich, but I got to tell you, me and my girlfriends, we were stuck in the gift shop for a while. We're like, let's go in for some food. And we were eyeing everything in the gift shop there.
Masstown, is the best.
Yeah?
You will find something there. You will.
A natural stopping place.
Awesome. Well, as you can see, it's still dark outside over in Masstown. A bit of a cold start to the day as well. Currently 2 degrees in your area, so not too bad. It is starting to warm up. It was 0 just half an hour ago. As of right now, minus 13 degrees in Fredericton, minus 4 in Charlottetown, minus 6 degrees in Halifax, 0 in St. John's, Newfoundland. Factor in the wind chill and those breezy winds. It is helping to really cool things down early this morning. There is a risk of frostbite in parts of northern New Brunswick and parts of Labrador. Here's a look at that special weather statement in effect for much of Nova Scotia. Wednesday into Thursday morning, we are expecting an Alberta clipper to head our way early Wednesday. So here's a look at our current system today. We are looking at a bit of sunshine as the sun begins to rise for parts of the Maritime region. Still some lingering flurry activity as well. And then for Newfoundland and Labrador, looking at some light snowfall and mixed precipitation for Newfoundland. Here's a look at our current wind for the Maritime region. It is 43 kilometers per hour for sustained wind in Canso, 35 into Sydney, 28 into Halifax, 22 in North Cape. Wind gusts of 59 in Sydney, 54 kilometers per hour in Canso, 37 into Charlottetown. We'll take a look at your forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. Hearings continue today into whether a gas plant near Sackville, New Brunswick should be approved. MB Power execs are in the hot seat at the Energy and Utilities Board hearing, facing questions on why a controversial natural gas-fired generation plant in the Tantramar area is necessary. MB Power is facing an energy shortfall by 2028, so they've entered into an agreement with American company Pro Energy, which would build and operate the plant, selling up to 500 megawatts back to the Crown Corporation. The panel was asked how much it will cost taxpayers to buy back the power. Chief Commercial Officer Brad Cody wouldn't give an exact figure, citing confidentiality, but said the plant itself is estimated to cost Pro Energy over $1 billion to build. So it's likely to cost the utility more than $1 billion. Pro Energy wants the EUB's approvals by June, or it could walk away. This hearing continues all week. And a 2-part inquiry is being planned to look into last year's cyber attack at Nova Scotia Power. The Nova Scotia Energy Board says one set of hearings will examine the technical aspects of the March 2025 cyber attack, while a separate investigation will look at how the utility collected and stored customer data and how it estimated bills for months after losing communication with power meters. The cyber attack saw the personal information of 280,000 customers accessed by a Russian-based actor, prompting a slew of complaints about large, unexpected bills. And we're learning more about an error which saw personal Medicare information sent to hundreds of wrong addresses in New Brunswick. The province says 365 people received other people's Medicare information along with their own in the mail. On Monday, Service New Brunswick told us the problem was discovered a week ago and limited to a 2-day period. Officials say they started contacting those affected last week. The Office of the Ombudsman says anybody who is concerned about their health information being mishandled should contact that office. A local politician and his wife in Campbellton, New Brunswick, have died in a snowmobile accident. The crash happened Sunday, taking the lives of community councillor Gaétan Cormier and his wife Rosemarie Charest. In a statement, the acting mayor expressed deep sadness about the news, expressing condolences to the family, calling it a tragedy for the entire Campbellton regional community. Prior to being elected to council in 2022, volunteer firefighter Cormier had served as an alderman for Atholville. Rosemarie was a retired employee of Campbellton Regional Hospital. A 19-year-old has been arrested after a stabbing incident in downtown Halifax Sunday night. It happened on Spring Garden Road. Police say the victim, also 19 years old, was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was arrested nearby. Brennan Herdman is facing charges of attempted murder and assault with a weapon. Investigators say the two men don't know each other, but did get into some kind of dispute before the incident. Social media posts were the focus of the ongoing Jansen Baker double murder trial in Moncton. A civilian expert for the RCMP who examined thousands of Facebook messages as part of the investigation was cross-examined Monday. Many of the messages revolved around the arrest of Jesse Logue, who was charged with drug and firearm offenses following the massive police operation. Court heard Logue's associates also frequently discussed Silvio Saunier, the son of Bernard and Rosemarie, who were shot to death in their home in Dieppe in 2019. Previous testimony suggested people in those circles were convinced the younger Saunier was a police informant. The former CEO of the region's children's hospital has been granted bail as she seeks to appeal her fraud conviction. Tracy Kitch was locked up just last week after having twice been convicted of fraud for using her corporate credit card to pay for personal expenses. A conservative estimate of more than $30,000 was the evidence presented at trial, although Kitch did pay back the money before the first trial. Her release yesterday came with conditions.
She's surrendering her passport to remain in the country, and that satisfies us that she'll surrender into custody, and any residual concerns we have about public confidence in her release.
Kitch was released on a $20,000 surety. The case heads back to court in the fall. Finally, the Dartmouth Ice Festival may have come and gone, but in the nation's capital, a group of novice ice carvers were competing to see whose creation is the coolest, and we mean that literally.
This is kind of the vision that we have. We'll see how well we can execute it, but we're very excited. It's our first time.
10 duos took part during Ottawa's Winterlude, paired up with a professional ice carver to help bring their visions to life. The event honors Ryan Hill, a Mohawk artist whose first ever carving won in 2013, leading him to become an international ice carver. Isn't that cool? You have a novice working with a pro.
Yes.
Trying your hand at this. And of course, if you go down Portland Street in downtown Dartmouth, you can still see the ice sculptures that are there from the festival.
Yes.
Yeah, from the end of January.
The funnest is the day of seeing them being made. We had Richard out back making it with it, like showing the chainsaw and the ice flying. It's exciting.
That's so cool. Yeah. Sad I missed that one.
Oh
my
it's
gosh,
a jewel.
You can just go for a walk and you can still at least see the work. Admire
they're kind of fun to watch them as they change, you know, with the melting and stuff like that. This is related to that. Did you know that a common household tool is vital to making the perfect ice sculpture?
It's a hair dryer?
It's the iron. The hair dryer would work, would be one, but the iron is a surprising secret weapon for these snow sculptors. Now, this is a snow sculpture, not an ice sculpture, so maybe there's a difference. These students are at Michigan Tech University, and they have a winter carnival, so they've been working through the night to sculpt the snow. But a lot of them, the irons, they say they can be used to make like bricks or kind of shingles, like that look. In any case, cool, and quite the extension cord you'd have to have. Oh, and look, they don't have to get the snow anywhere but, you know, the local.
Delivered?
Yeah, exactly. Just go over there and get some for us.
That's funny.
Yeah, just go to the pile. It's free.
Exactly.
Don't take the yellow stuff. Okay, still ahead. Latavia's got another look at the forecast on this Tuesday, and I'll have a look at your national headlines as well. Good morning to our viewers in the Hub City. A nice day maybe to go skating outside the Avenir Center in the downtown. The forecast and more details on tomorrow's snow up next.
Happy Tuesday. The time now is 7:14. We're taking a live look at Corner Brook. We do have a chance of some flurry activity throughout the day today for you, and currently 0 as your current temperature. It is colder for many parts of Atlantic Canada this morning. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca. As of right now, minus 15 degrees in Fredericton, minus 4 as you head outdoors in Charlottetown, with minus 6 in Halifax, minus 32 degrees over in Labrador City, and 0 in Gander. We do have a special weather statement in effect across much of Nova Scotia for Wednesday until Thursday morning. Could see potentially accumulating of 10 to 25 centimeters of snowfall. We do have an Alberta clipper heading our way into early Wednesday morning. So here's a look at our forecast timeline for today. We are going to see sunshine as the sun begins to rise for parts of the Maritime region. Still holding on to a lingering flurry activity. We are also seeing some light snowfall and flurries for parts of Newfoundland, looking at a bit of mixed precipitation as well. Taking us into this afternoon, much of the same is expected. We are going to see temperatures cool down yet again into the overnight hours for tonight. A bit of cloud coverage for parts of the Maritime region, still holding on to a bit of mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. Then into early Wednesday morning, we do have this Alberta clipper heading our way. It's going to be quite fast, moving right across much of the Maritime region and making its way over to parts of Newfoundland and Labrador. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters with this system slowly moving in across the Maritime region. Newfoundland, Labrador also seeing an additional 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. Lots of sunshine throughout your day. Snow arriving into the evening. Highs between -4 to 0, or +2 actually, in Miramichi. For Prince Edward Island, highs between -4 to -2 degrees. Flurries starting off your day, clearing out later this morning, leaving a mix of sun and cloud, and wind gusts of 50 kilometers per hour. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, pretty much the same, but seeing mainly cloudy skies into the afternoon. Highs between -3 to +1. For the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at a mix of sun and cloud throughout your day, snow into the evening, highs between -2 to +3. For Labrador City, we do have a mix of sun and cloud with increasing cloudiness into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies, a high of -15 degrees. 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at periods of drizzle. We also have a risk of freezing drizzle. Wednesday's forecast, we'll start to see that snowfall cover much of the Maritime region into the afternoon on Wednesday. Newfoundland and Labrador also dealing with some light snowfall into early Thursday morning, still holding on to snow, and then starting to see it clear out for parts of the Maritime region, at least into Thursday afternoon. Still seeing some mixed precipitation for parts of Newfoundland. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Canada is on the fingertips of the U.S. president again, with Donald Trump's latest threat posted on social media. Trump is threatening not to allow the opening of a new bridge linking Windsor, Ontario and Detroit, Michigan, arguing that the U.S. should first be compensated. He said the U.S. will immediately start negotiations over the third link between the cities, the Gordie Howe International Bridge, set to open early this year after delays. Trump says Canada has treated the U.S. very unfairly for decades. He says the U.S. should own at least half of this asset. The government of Canada has funded the entire $6.4 billion project, which will be publicly owned by both Canada and Michigan. Canadian flights to Cuba are being canceled for now over a shortage of aviation fuel in the Caribbean country. Air Canada, WestJet and Air Transat each said yesterday they were canceling flights to Cuba as that island nation faces a worsening energy crisis amid a U.S. blockade of oil. All three airlines said they had plans to bring travelers home to Canada. Air Canada, for example, said it would dispatch empty flights southbound to pick up about 3,000 travelers and bring them home. The Canadian government has upgraded its travel advisory, warning travelers that shortages and flight disruptions could worsen on short notice. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. Coming up next, we'll get details on the Get Up There event at Wentworth in Nova Scotia. That's coming up next. Please stay with us.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Welcome back. It's 7:22. Now, every day, one Nova Scotian dies from colorectal cancer. The good news is it's 90% preventable through screening and prevention. Now, Friday, March 6 marks the 18th anniversary of Get Up There, also known as GUT, an event that raises awareness and funds in the fight against colorectal cancer by climbing up the hills of Wentworth. Here to tell us more is founder Nick Fieldson and committee member Scott Graham. Thank you both for getting up early and coming in this morning.
Our pleasure.
So, Nick, it is our pleasure to shine a spotlight on this. So, Nick, this is not your first go-around. You've been on our show before. But for any reviewers who aren't familiar, tell us about what the Get Up There fundraiser is all about.
So the real purpose of GUT is to raise awareness and the funds to help combat colorectal cancer. And our mission is all about prevention. So it's all about raising awareness, helping people to understand there's ways that you can get screened and be treated for early stage cancer.
And the big message, the big takeaway, you know, in case people are like, oh, I'm going to tune off right now. No, the big thing is it's return those tests you get in the mail. Explain that for our viewers.
Absolutely. So every Nova Scotian between the age of 50 and 74 will receive a fit test, which comes on their birthday month every 2 years. And it's dead easy to do, very easy to test to do. You just provide a little bit of fecal material and it gets sent back and you get screened. But it's really important you do it every 2 years because it just makes sure that you've got a clean bill of health.
Yeah, wonderful. And if you do return this test, and something goes wrong, they find something that's a little bit off, what happens next?
So we have a great partnership with the Dartmouth General. They have a dedicated colonoscopy suite. So if you have a positive fit test, which is a good thing, because it means you'll get that secondary screening, they can get you in, do a scope and just check that everything's okay. If they need to do something, you're in the right place.
That's in the right place. Early detection means better chances of a good outcome. 90%, success rate in that regard. But this is where you come in. Tell us about your personal connection to this cause.
Yeah, so in 2021, we lost my father, David Graham, to colon cancer 4 months after his diagnosis. So for me, myself, I was looking for something, an outlet to really pour my grief into and do something in honor of him. And that's where GUT came into place. So it's my 4th year doing this, and it's been a tremendous opportunity for me to really raise awareness of this cancer here in Nova Scotia. And not only that, but to meet the wonderful team at the Dartmouth General that's done terrific things there to really help promote this program and our event that we do. So it's been so important to me and my family, and we're really happy to raise awareness in my dad's honor.
Well, we're so grateful that you're using your voice to try to help other people. But in the case of your dad, had he been suffering with colorectal cancer for many years, or did it come on suddenly?
It came on very suddenly. Like I said, 4 months from diagnosis to when he passed in October 2021. And that's really the importance of these preventative measures. So in our case, my dad, unfortunately, the prevention was not there for him, and it was not screened early.
Yeah.
But that's why we really want to raise our voice and be vocal, and in his memory, prevent other families from suffering a similar loss.
Well, you being here and telling his story is a wonderful reminder that those tests that come in the mail, don't just throw them out. You need to do them, because they could be the difference in making sure that you have a good life and good outcome. So for the event on March 6th, it's actually at Ski Wentworth. How can people sign up for this?
So you can go to getupthere.ca. That takes you straight into our fundraising page. You can join a team. You can provide some fundraising support. And yeah, it's just a great day out on the hill. We arrive there early in the morning. We climb up and ski down the hill all day, and we have a great celebration at the end. And
what a wonderful, healthy thing to do for such a good cause. We have all the information on our website about GUT or Get Up There if you want to sign up. But the fundraising's already begun. You don't have to wait till March 6th. You can get in on the fundraising now.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
More the merrier.
And the last thing I want to say before we go, and I know we're out of time, is that when you send in those tests, people in our region actually process them? Tell our viewers about that real quick.
Absolutely. So there's 175,000 kits sent out every year. Everyone goes to a lab in Bridgewater. It's at the South Shore Regional, and there's an amazingly dedicated team. We had a chance to go down and film with them. So passionate about what they do, and they would just love more tests to come in. It's currently 45%. We want to push it up.
Wonderful. Thank you both, Scott. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We put all the information on our website. It's 7:26. We'll take a break and be back with more of our show right after this.
Just ahead in this half hour, we're getting musical. We will chat with a Jamaican-Canadian singer-songwriter in this week's edition of Tia Tuesday. That conversation coming up in 15 minutes here on Your Morning Atlantic.
Well, good morning. Come on in and join us. Halfway through the show already on this Tuesday. Chilly out there, I can tell you from experience.
Yeah.
And I've noticed yesterday, now that I have my 2 dogs that I've adopted from the SPCA, we're out walking, or I should say they were out walking me.
Yes.
A fair bit. I noticed that there's a lot of nice places to walk because the snow's melted.
I know, it's been quite nice, and even the road's not slick and just
Yeah.
smooth commute, which is awesome. We are going to get some snow tomorrow. So that might change a little.
Well, that's it. Yeah, like don't get used to it because there's good. And we're getting a fair bit with this next system.
Potentially around like 10 to 25 centimeters for just Nova Scotia alone. We are going to see some totals accumulate for parts of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island as well, but it's looking quite light as of right now because our snowfall outlook only goes to around 6 a.m. tomorrow. So yeah, that's what we're estimating when we take a look at that in the full weather forecast.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so we'll see. But it's going to be warm tomorrow, which is really nice.
Oh!
Yeah, it's going to be one of those systems that, like, temperatures really warm up, and we're seeing above the freezing mark. Even today, some temperatures for the Maritime region above the freezing mark. So
I'll swing by and get some daiquiri supplies on the way home.
Absolutely should. Why not? But starting off cold this morning for parts of the region, of course. Just something to keep in mind when you are heading out this morning. -4 degrees over in Brookvale. You can see a very cloudy start to the day. Still expecting a bit of flurry activity before clearing. You could see some sunny breaks into the mid to late afternoon. As of right now, it is -15 degrees heading outdoors in Fredericton, -6 in Halifax, 0 in Sydney and St. John's, Newfoundland. Then factor in that wind chill is going to feel a lot colder, as Crystal mentioned, kind of a bite in the air when you factor in this wind chill as well as the current breezy wind we're seeing. There is a risk of frostbite as well for parts of northern New Brunswick and parts of Labrador. A special weather statement in effect for much of Nova Scotia as this Alberta Clipper makes its way over Wednesday into Thursday morning. And we do have a bit of sunshine in the forecast today, but also seeing some flurry activity for parts of the Maritime region, light snowfall for parts of Labrador. Newfoundland still holding on to a bit of mixed precipitation today. And then in terms of the wind, 41 kilometers per hour right now in Sydney and Canso, 24 into Charlottetown, 26 in St. John, New Brunswick, 28 in Halifax. Wind gusts of up to 52 kilometers per hour in Sydney, 41 in Charlottetown, and 30 in Grand Manan. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Hearings continue today into whether a gas plant near Sackville, New Brunswick should be approved. NB Power execs are in the hot seat at the Energy and Utilities Board hearing, facing questions on why a controversial natural gas-fired generation plant in the Tantramar area is necessary. NB Power says it's because they're facing an energy shortfall by 2028. So they've entered into an agreement with American company Pro Energy, which would build and operate the plant, selling up to 500 megawatts back to the Crown Corporation. The panel was asked how much it will cost taxpayers to buy back the power. Chief Commercial Officer Brad Cody wouldn't give an exact figure, citing confidentiality, but said the plant itself is estimated to cost Pro Energy over $1 billion to build. So it's likely to cost the utility more than $1 billion. Pro Energy wants the EUB's approvals by June, or it could walk away. This hearing will continue for the week. A 2-part inquiry is being planned to look into last year's cyber attack at Nova Scotia Power. The Nova Scotia Energy Board says one set of hearings will examine the technical aspects of the March 2025 cyber attack, Well, a separate investigation will look at how the utility collected and stored customer data and how it estimated bills for months after losing communication with power meters. The cyber attack saw the personal information of 280,000 customers accessed by a Russian-based actor, prompting a slew of complaints about large, unexpected bills. A local politician and his wife in Campbellton, New Brunswick, have died in a snowmobile accident. The crash happened Sunday, taking the lives of community councillor Gaetan Cormier and his wife Rosemarie Charest. In a statement, the acting mayor expressed deep sadness about the news, expressing condolences to the family, calling it a tragedy for the entire Campbellton regional community. Prior to being elected to council in 2022, volunteer fighter Cormier had served as an alderman for Atholville. Rosemarie was a retired employee of Campbellton Regional Hospital. Halifax Transit is weighing in on the city's traffic problems. The service has unveiled an ambitious proposal with route changes and more buses to make commutes faster and more reliable. However, the plan faces a couple significant challenges. CTV's Callum Smith has more.
It's been a decade since the last transit service plan was before Halifax Council, and a lot has changed since then, like a 22% jump in population. Now the core service plan is being shown to the Transportation Standing Committee.
This is the first time I've read transit reports and was actually excited and optimistic about the future.
Over 3 years, 21 changes are proposed, impacting 25 routes, or 37% of them, based on rider feedback. From adding some additional trips at key times, route changes, and a new run from West Bedford. Reducing overcrowding and increasing reliability is the goal. Also expanding airport service from 22 hours to 24 hours per day.
This is an exciting opportunity to introduce 24-hour transit service to Halifax for the first time ever, and it allows us to explore the feasibility of future 24-hour services.
But some aren't so pleased with what is or isn't on the table.
Transit being a core service, well, it's a core service for some. It's not a core service for all of the residents of HRM, so it's unacceptable. It really is.
Profound disappointment. I mean, if you're in Prospect or St. Margaret's Bay, this represents a letdown.
Staff say reallocating buses or drivers would be difficult, so new resources are needed. The plan calls for $75 million, mostly for 30 new buses, with the remaining $22 million for operations. A total hike of about $64 to the average tax bill over 3 years. Callum Smith, CTV News.
Thank you, Callum. Finally, an event themed on writing couplets to express good wishes was held in China alongside humanoid robots. That's a sentence sometimes you never thought you would have said. More than 500 calligraphers, enthusiasts, and students gathered to write Spring Festival couplets together. 4 humanoid robots grasped brushes, participating in a unique contest alongside the calligraphers.
Now, I understand the fact that they used humanoid robots. That's why we're talking about it on TV, because they do this calligraphy all the time.
Yes.
But why so much with the humanoid robots? You know, like, enough with the humanoid robots.
I mean,
let's shine a spotlight on these awesome costumed calligraphers.
I was just thinking, I'm like, let's take a moment for the fashion.
Thank you.
Because I love that.
Also, he's not holding the brush very well. Like, come on.
Like, get it together.
Oh, my God.
Get a grip in this
Get a
case.
grip.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, something you don't see every day.
You do not see that every day. All right, so we're going to talk about some white rhinos, which I've never seen until I saw this video. They might have been a little shocked when they stepped out into the snow recently. Now, this is in Tennessee where they live. This is what a white rhino looks like. They got to run around a little bit. They enjoyed the snow. And the zookeepers say, though, after a little romp in the snow, they were quite eager to get back inside. But they largely have, like, if they were in nature, they would live in southern Africa. So they're not used to snow.
Very different.
But
yeah, very different indeed.
They liked it. They're like, hey, this kind of, you know, reminds us of looking in the mirror, they said.
I do love how curious they are, right? Like, like any animal, it's like the fresh snowfall. They're like, what is this?
I know. And just rhinos, they're neat.
They are really neat.
That something like that exists in the world is cool.
Yeah. We want to know about neat food that you've tried. It's part of our Move Morning Chat. We're asking, what is the spiciest food you've ever tried? Did you know it was going to be that spicy? Were you in for a bit of surprise? Were you happy about it or not? Send us a text at 10400. We're going to share your answers a little bit later in the show.
Now I want Mexican. Yum. Thinking about spicy food. I love tasty food, and I love a certain level of spice, but if it's just hot for the sake of being hot,
it's too much.
I don't want that. Yeah.
My nose is leaking and my eyes are crying. I don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little
exactly.
excessive.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, spice has its place.
It does, it does. Well,
And some of the tastiest dishes have a lot of spice in it. Yeah, unfortunately. For me.
Well, you can warm up while you're staying at home listening to Latavia's cooler forecast that's coming up. Also, too, coming up next, it is Tia Tuesday. We will sit down with a rising Jamaican Canadian singer-songwriter. That conversation is coming up next at 7:40 on your Tuesday morning.
Happy Tuesday and welcome back. The time now is 7:44. We're taking a live look at Iona. Starting off at 0 this morning, a bit of a cloudy start to the day. We do have a chance of flurries early in the morning before clearing, leaving mainly cloudy skies. You can see a bit of sunshine in behind those clouds. It is cold for parts of Atlantic Canada early this morning, minus 15 degrees in Fredericton, minus 4 starting off your day in Charlottetown, a bit cooler into Halifax with minus 6, minus 32 degrees over in Labrador City, and 0 starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a special weather statement in effect for parts of Nova Scotia. Wednesday into Thursday morning, we are expecting an Alberta clipper. It will be a fast-moving system, but still bringing snowfall at around 10 to 25 centimeters of accumulation. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. As the sun begins to rise, we do have sunshine for parts of the Maritime region, but also going to see a bit of a cloudier day ahead. A few flurries still lingering for parts of the Maritimes. For Newfoundland, Labrador, also seeing a bit of flurry activity, but for the most part, seeing a bit of precipitation and a risk of freezing drizzle for parts of Newfoundland. Into the afternoon, much of the same expected. Taking us into tonight, either looking at pretty clear skies, increasing cloudiness into early Tuesday morning, and then here's that system headed our way. It's going to be bringing that snowfall for parts of the Maritime region, continuing to spread into Wednesday and Thursday, bringing snowfall for Newfoundland and Labrador as well. If you're wondering about snowfall totals at around 1 to 5 centimeters starting off with this system, we are going to see around 1 to 5 centimeters as well for parts of both Newfoundland and Labrador. Lots of sunshine starting off your day for New Brunswick. We will be seeing snow arrive into the evening. Daytime highs will range from -4 to +2. For Prince Edward Island, flurries early in the morning clearing, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Daytime highs between -4 to -2 and wind gusts of 50. Cape Breton, eastern and mainland Nova Scotia, pretty much the same. Flurries will clear, but leaving mainly cloudy skies. Daytime highs between -3 to +1. For the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at sunshine throughout your day, snow into the evening, highs between -2 to 3 degrees. Labrador City, looking at a mix of sun and clouds starting off the day, increasing cloudiness into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies, a high of -15. 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at periods of drizzle with a risk of freezing drizzle as well. Wednesday's forecast, temperatures really warming up yet again for our daytime highs for the Maritimes. Seeing snow, though, track across the region. Newfoundland and Labrador also dealing with snowfall. Into Thursday's forecast, we start to see a bit of that snow clear out of parts of the Maritimes. Still holding on to snowfall into Thursday afternoon, though. Mixed precipitation returns for parts of Newfoundland. Labrador also seeing snowfall. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Tia Tuesday.
Well, it's time for my favorite segment, and yes, it is Tia Tuesday, and today we are getting a musical treat. So we are joined by, of course, Tia Upshaw, founder and CEO of Black Women in Excellence, and singer-songwriter Koya States. Thank you both for coming.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me. All right, well, I know the familia connection, but Tia,
Yes.
how do you know our lovely, talented artist?
She's my niece. She's my niece. She's my niece. Absolutely. Yes.
Do all your life you've known each other?
Absolutely, absolutely. Her mother and my mother are actually triplet sisters.
Oh my God.
It's her mother, my mother, and her uncle.
Amazing.
Their mom. So yeah, we're like literally related. No joke.
I love it. Literally no
Yeah.
joke. So Corey, for people meeting you for the first time, who are you? What's your story? Tell us all the things.
My name's Koya States. I was born in Toronto, Ontario, but lived most of my life down here. Raised in Mulgrave Park and all around, really. Yeah, I've been singing since I was a little girl. I used to sing at talent shows, and now I make it my life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. What is it about singing that just hooks you?
Honestly, when I started, I just was inspired by watching like my favorite artist. But now I feel like I do it more for like the youth. I like to do like school tours and stuff and inspire them. Because I don't know, I grew up in an area where it would be the projects, and people like me that come from there, sometimes they end up like her. Amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And sometimes we don't, but I like to show them that you can be more than just what you came from. So.
Yeah, and that your goals are achievable no matter what.
Yeah.
You mentioned your favorite artist. Who would that be?
It's a mix.
It is.
I love Rihanna. I'd say that's who I started with. That was my favorite. And I feel like a lot of my music, you can hear like the influence. And then I love Billie Eilish a lot too.
Okay, yeah. I love the contrast there. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very diverse with my music.
And her mom looks like Rihanna too. Have you seen her mom? Just saying.
All right, so obviously you've always known you wanted to be a singer. Where do you draw your inspiration from for your lyrics and your music?
I'd say life. I feel like a lot of my music is based off of my life experiences and even other people's life experience. There's an odd time where it's based off a movie, but mostly life.
I love it. I mean, you say you work with youth too, and that's a big part of who you are as an artist.
Yeah.
Can you maybe talk to a point where you are struggling like right now and what like your craft does for you to help propel you?
Yeah, honestly, this past 5 months, I actually was going through a bit of homelessness. Just had a rough patch and got out of a rough situation, and I was doing school tours still and doing shows, and I'd say that kept me going, honestly. Like, it helped build me as not only a person, but as an artist, going through that and still like persevering. So yeah, I think that would be a really rough patch for me that I kept pushing through. And performing with the youth and for the youth, like it's very like, it makes you joyful and it fills my spirit. So yeah, I feel like that would be a big for me.
I mean, you're a very joyful person. Like, just your energy in here is amazing. Tia, how proud of you?
Oh my goodness, I'm sitting here thinking and looking at her. Absolutely proud. You know, number one, not just because she's my niece and she's family, because she's a young black girl whose life wasn't easy. And she's pushing through all adversities, and she's gonna get to the top. She's gonna get there.
Thank you.
I love it.
I love it. Well, we are gonna give everyone a little treat, and we're gonna play some of your music for us to finish off. So they'll stick around for this. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Health and medical news now. Men's health advocates say a planned national strategy signals growing recognition for gaps in care for men and boys across the country. It is one of the topics in your health.
Canada's health minister says the government aims to launch the strategy in 2026, working with multiple departments on mental health, prevention, and access to services. The Movember Institute says research shows men face higher risks of suicide and major illness and often encounter barriers when seeking help. Advocates say success will depend on sustained action and cross-party cooperation, not political debate. A new study finds how well a cancer treatment works may depend on the time of day it's given to patients. Researchers gathered more than 200 people who had the same kind of lung cancer and put them on the same type of treatments to fire up their immune systems. The only difference was that half the group got their medications earlier in the day and the other half got them later. The surprise finding was that the time of day made a difference. Patients who got their first rounds of treatments before 3 p.m. had, on average, about 5 more months before their cancers grew and spread, and they lived almost a year longer than those who got their treatments later in the day. They also had better odds of being alive at the end of the 2-year study. The researchers say they don't know yet why the time of day is impactful. The study was published in the journal Nature Medicine. Finally, there's a new reason to consider the Mediterranean diet. A new long-term study found that the plant-forward eating style may lower stroke risk for women. Researchers followed more than 100,000 women who were part of a study that began in 1995, and those who ate a Mediterranean diet were 18% less likely to have any type of stroke. The diet emphasizes vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts, fish, and olive oil. It limits consuming meat and dairy and allows for moderate alcohol consumption. Past studies have found the Mediterranean diet may lower the risk for dementia, gum disease, depression, breast cancer, and diabetes. The new research was published in the journal Neurology Open Access.
We just have one milestone to pass along for you today. It's a 104th birthday for Antoinette Boudreau of Glenlevitt, New Brunswick. Happy birthday.
Antoinette, 140 years? Wow. You'll have to share your secrets.
And to see your milestone again or find out how to submit one, visit our website by scanning the QR code on your screen. And a reminder, milestones must be received 2 weeks in advance. And the Grammy-nominated group Celtic Woman is the most successful all-female Irish group in history and is headed our way.
The tour will make 3 stops in Atlantic, Canada this spring, including Casino New Brunswick in Moncton, the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax, and the Mary Brown Centre in St. John's. CTV's Katie Kelly gives us a preview.
So feel to me the parting glass.
Celtic Woman is a group of women that has been going since 2004. It was originally meant to be a one-night thing of Irish music. And here we are, nearly 25 years later, still going. So this new tour, it's called A New Era, so it really does what it says on the tin. After 21 years, you do want to breathe new life into something, but you also don't want to forget your past or where you come from or the reason why you're here for 21 years. So we've got an amazing new musical director called Brian Byrne, who is a Golden Globe nominated Irish composer. So he's working away on lots of beautiful new arrangements for us, breathing new life into songs that people will know, like the Danny Boys, You Raised Me Up, but also composing some new stuff which people won't have heard. And of course we have to bring a bit of fun as well, because it wouldn't be a Celtic Woman show without a bit of fun. So we really encourage people to get up and have a good time and dance as well, because, you know, you're out for the night, so you want to have fun. So we're going all over the States, but then we're also, of course, coming to Canada and Nova Scotia. And, you know, my favorite part about being on the road is just getting to see new places and meet new people. A lot of people have Irish and Celtic heritage, so that's kind of why they resonate with it so deeply. So yeah, thank you so much for having us, because we haven't been up your way all that much, so we're so excited.
An American girl, he's sure to marry, and still she cried, I love him the best.
There's something for everybody in Celtic Woman. So be prepared, you're gonna cry, because there's gonna be those really heartfelt songs, but you're also gonna be up out of your seat dancing. You know, it's not just the 4 of us on stage. You know, there's Irish dancing for starters. We've got bagpipes, uilleann pipes, whistles, piano, bouzouki, lots of guitars. We have percussion and drummer. So it's very much still a spectacle. Then when the lights go down and it's just the harmony and the nostalgia and the beautiful Celtic stories. I always think of the audience as the 5th member of Celtic Woman. So if I was to encourage anybody to come to the show, I would just say you'll feel like one of us. And that's the way that we always want to be.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
It's Tuesday, February 10th. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, NB Power tells hearings the province needs a controversial gas plant for its future. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And Love Stinks. Bought Wild Animal Shelter joins us to talk about their new fundraiser. You're going to love it. That and so much more coming up in this hour of Your Morning Atlantic.
Love stinks. I imagine if your name is on the inside of a litter box, it's not for good reasons.
No.
You're from the doghouse to the litter box.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, Vita Wild's here with an adoptable. If you're looking for a cat, you may find your future kitty on our show today.
Ooh, it works.
So, yeah, I love this fundraiser idea, but if you were going to be heading outside today with your pet, probably not a cat. They're not good on leash.
No.
Someone running around this morning on my way in, I'll tell you that much. I was like, where are you? Why aren't you inside?
They're not great on leash. But if you are headed out with an animal, you want to bundle up.
Yes, it's cold early in the morning, but temperatures will rise a little bit later on, above the freezing mark today for parts of the Maritime region. I think the highest temperature we're seeing for our daytime highs is around 3 degrees.
That's really not so bad.
Yeah, that's
early
actually
February.
really nice. I know,
Yeah.
right? So we are going to see temperatures warm up, but yes, bundle up when you are heading out early this morning. We do still have a bit of active weather for parts of the region, but as you can see over in Digby, the sun is shining early this morning. Gorgeous start to your day. So as of right now, it is -5 degrees in your area. Temperatures are expected to warm up a little bit later on, but it is cold for parts of the region. -15 degrees in Fredericton, -4 in Charlottetown, -6 degrees in Halifax, -32 over in Labrador City, and 0 in St. John's, Newfoundland. Here's a look at that wind chill, though, and then factor in those breezy winds. It is feeling quite cool. There is a bite in the air. We do have a risk of frostbite for parts of northern New Brunswick and parts of Labrador. A special weather statement also in effect for much of Nova Scotia as we expect an Alberta clipper Wednesday into Thursday morning. But for today, a little bit of sunshine for parts of the Maritime region at least. A few flurries starting off your day for parts of the region. And then we do have light snowfall for parts of Labrador and Newfoundland, seeing mixed precipitation today yet again. In terms of the current wind for the Maritime region, 41 kilometers per hour for sustained wind in Canso and Sydney. Looking at 28 in Halifax, 26 in St. John, New Brunswick, and Charlottetown. Wind gusts of 52 kilometers per hour in Sydney, 48 in Charlottetown, with 30 into Grand Manan. We'll take another look at your long-range forecast, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
A local politician and his wife in Campbellton, New Brunswick, have died in a snowmobile accident. The crash happened Sunday, taking the lives of community councillor Gaetan Cormier and his wife, Rose-Marie Charest. In a statement, the acting mayor expressed deep sadness about the news, expressing condolences to the family, calling it a tragedy for the entire Campbellton regional community. Prior to being elected to council in 2022, volunteer firefighter Cormier had served as an alderman for Atholville. Rose-Marie was a retired employee of Campbellton Regional Hospital. A 19-year-old has been arrested after a stabbing incident in downtown Halifax Sunday night. It happened on Spring Garden Road. Police say the victim, also 19 years old, was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was arrested nearby. Brennan Herdman is facing charges of attempted murder and assault with a weapon. Investigators say the two men don't know each other, but did get into some kind of dispute before the incident. Social media posts were the focus at the ongoing Jansen Baker double murder trial in Moncton. A civilian expert for the RCMP who examined thousands of Facebook messages as part of the investigation was cross-examined Monday. Many of the messages revolved around the arrest of Jesse Logue, who was charged with drug and firearm offenses following the massive police operation. Court heard Logue's associates also frequently discussed Silvio Saunier, the son of Bernard and Rose-Marie, who were shot to death in their home in Dieppe in 2019. Previous testimony suggested people in those circles were convinced the younger Saunier was a police informant. The former CEO of the region's children's hospital has been granted bail as she seeks to appeal her fraud conviction. Tracy Kitch was locked up just last week after having twice been convicted of fraud for using her corporate credit card to pay for personal expenses. A conservative estimate of more than $30,000 was the evidence presented at trial, although Kitch did pay back the money before the first trial. Her release yesterday came with conditions.
She's surrendering her passport to remain in the country, and that satisfies us that she'll surrender into custody, and any residual concerns we have about public confidence in her release.
Kitch was released on a $20,000 surety. The case heads back to court in the fall. Hearings continue today into whether a gas plant near Sackville, New Brunswick should be approved. NB Power execs are in the hot seat at the Energy and Utilities Board hearing, facing questions on why a controversial natural gas-fired generation plant in the Tantramar area is necessary. NB Power says it's facing an energy shortfall by 2028. So they've entered into an agreement with American company Pro Energy, which would build and operate the plant, selling up to 500 megawatts back to the Crown Corporation. The panel was asked how much it will cost taxpayers to buy back the power. Chief Commercial Officer Brad Cody would not give an exact figure, citing confidentiality, but said the plant itself is estimated to cost Pro Energy over $1 billion to build. So it's likely to cost the utility more than $1 billion. Pro Energy wants the EUB's approvals by June, or it could walk away. This hearing is expected to continue for the week. A two-part inquiry is being planned to look into last year's cyber attack at Nova Scotia Power. Nova Scotia Energy Board says one set of hearings will examine the technical aspects of the March 2025 cyber attack, while a separate investigation will look at how the utility collected and stored customer data and how it estimated bills for months after losing communication with power meters. The cyber attack saw the personal information of 280,000 customers accessed by a Russian-based actor, prompting a slew of complaints about large, unexpected bills. WestJet is adding more flights to the east based on customer demand. 7 routes from Halifax to Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Regina, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver will operate through the summer. The announcement comes as the airline dropped numerous routes from western cities to the United States because of slumping demand. Finally, Canada's women's hockey team remains unbeaten at the 2026 Winter Olympics after a 5-1 win over Czechia. The second win in a row comes as Marie-Philippe Poulin left in the first period after a hard check and did not return to the ice. Canada is back in action against the U.S. and Italy later today. That is going to be a game many people will be watching.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely all eyes on the ice. Go Team Canada.
I know. The Canadians doing really well.
All right, we're going to talk about something different now. Back to the animal world, apes. Scientists are studying whether apes have imaginations. Now, researchers at Johns Hopkins University are testing this theory with an ape named Kanzi, and they're seeing if Kanzi can play pretend. And how are they doing that? By having a little tea party. Now, tests suggest Kanzi can tell between real and pretend items, but Kanzi grew up with humans, so it's hard to tell if her abilities are present in other apes. But this could be a reimagining, if you will, of what we know about animal cognition.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I imagine apes could play pretend, but, you know, we're finding out. Kanzi can anyway.
Kanzi. Kanzi can.
Kanzi can.
She's clapping.
Awesome. I love that. That's so cute. All right, still ahead, all of your look at your national news headlines, and Latavia will have the latest look at the Monday forecast. We're going to go head over to Port City now and say hi to our viewers in St. John. Some nice clear skies there, some fresh snow on the ground. The forecast is up next, and also later this half hour, Bida Wild joins us.
Good morning. The time now is 8:12. We're taking a live look at Lockport. It is cold early this morning in your area, -9 degrees. But as you can see, a sunny start to your day, looking at a mix of sun and cloud today. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca. It is colder for parts of the region. As of right now, -14 degrees in Fredericton. Bit warmer, -4 in Charlottetown, -6 degrees in Halifax, 0 in Sydney, as well as into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have a special weather statement in effect for much of Nova Scotia as we expect an Alberta Clipper to head our way. Wednesday into Thursday morning, bringing snowfall potentially around 10 to 25 centimeters of accumulation. So here's a look at our current forecast timeline. We are seeing sunshine early this morning for parts of the Maritime region, also holding on to a bit of flurry activity. For Newfoundland, looking at some mixed precipitation with a risk of freezing drizzle early this morning and light snowfall for parts of Labrador. Into the afternoon, much of the same is expected. We will be seeing temperatures warm up for our daytime highs and then cooling back down into our lows. We will be seeing a bit of increasing cloudiness for parts of the region before this system makes its way over. And this starts early Wednesday morning, moving into parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia first. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, look at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation. This is for early Wednesday morning. And also Newfoundland and Labrador could get up to 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation as well. We will be seeing totals increase as this storm makes its way over from west to east. All right, so for our forecast today for New Brunswick, sunshine throughout your day today, mainly sunny skies. Snow arrives into the evening. Daytime highs will range from -4 to 2 degrees. For Prince Edward Island, highs between -4 to -2. We do have flurries starting off your day clearing, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Same thing goes for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, but seeing mainly cloudy skies into the afternoon with highs between -3 to +1. For the rest of Nova Scotia, a mix of sun and cloud today. Snow arrives into the evening with highs between -1 to 3 degrees. And for Labrador City, lots of sunshine starts off your day, increasing cloudiness into the afternoon, leaving mainly cloudy skies. A high of -14 degrees. 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at periods of drizzle with a risk of freezing drizzle. Wednesday's forecast, we start to see the system envelop much of the Maritime region. We are going to see totals from this system as well, as I had mentioned, potentially around 10 to 25. Newfoundland, Labrador also seeing a bit of light snowfall. And then into the early morning on Thursday, we start to see the system slowly clear out of the Maritime region. But into the afternoon, still holding on to a bit of snowfall, and Newfoundland seeing mixed precipitation. So that's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
The ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Canada have escalated with new threats from U.S. President Donald Trump that could set back the opening of a new bridge that connects the two countries. The bridge in question is the Gordie Howe Bridge between Windsor, Ontario, and Detroit, which is currently under construction. Late yesterday, in a social media post, Trump says he will not allow a bridge between Ontario and Michigan to open until his country is, quote, fully compensated, and goes on to say the U.S. should own at least one half of the asset. The $6.4 billion cost of the bridge has been entirely funded by Canada's federal government, but the bridge is under the public joint ownership of Canada and the state of Michigan. The crisis in Cuba is deepening, with the country now warning of a shortage of jet fuel. Some airlines are implementing contingency plans or outright suspending flights to the island. This all comes after Canada issued a heightened travel warning for Cuba. CTV's Heather Wright has the latest.
Beginning Tuesday, jet fuel will no longer be available to international airlines in Cuba. The latest sign of the devastating impact the U.S. fuel blockade is having on the Caribbean nation.
We came to Cuba knowing what to expect. There's some things you'll have every day, some things you won't. I mean, that's a norm for here.
But what has been the norm is deteriorating quickly with widespread shortages of food, fuel, and medicine. Air Canada announced today it is suspending services to Cuba, focusing instead on repatriating the roughly 3,000 passengers who are still there. This all comes as Cuba experiences the worst economic crisis in nearly 70 years.
We don't get to see how it truly affects the Cuban life on the island.
For decades, Venezuela had been the primary source of oil for Cuba, a source that was cut off when the United States captured Venezuela's president in January. Then U.S. President Donald Trump said he would impose tariffs on any country that sells or provides oil to Cuba, further depleting its sources of fuel. Some experts say Cuba is on the brink.
By the typical definition of what we think of as a failed state, Cuba is sort of on the cusp of it.
The government has closed hotels in Veradero and is consolidating tourists to save on resources. Fuel sales are being limited, while school and business hours have also been reduced.
Cuba has said it is open to negotiating with the United States to end this oil blockade. Meanwhile, the government is warning its citizens to prepare for hard times beyond what they are experiencing now. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Thank you, Heather. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, Crystal will have a conversation with Bide a While Animal Shelter in Dartmouth about a very fun, cheeky fundraiser. coming up next.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
It's 8:21 and time for Pet Talk. Now, let's be honest, sometimes love stinks. And if you're feeling that way, Bite Wild Animal Shelter is here to help warm your heart. Not only do they have the cutest adoptables, they also have a new fundraiser, Love Stinks, helping to get stinky revenge. To learn more, we welcome Executive Director Alicia Summers-Blonde and Marketing Coordinator Sam Cole. Thank you both for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having us.
So before we get started, because he may be needing to leave our set, is Gassy the cat. Tell us more about Gassy.
So he's going to tell you. Gassy is a 3-year-old male. He is a pretty wobbly guy. So he has cerebral hypoplasia, which is commonly known as CH, or wobbly cat syndrome. So his cerebellum, the little piece in his brain, didn't fully develop. So he's got some poor balance and coordination. He is new to this on-camera thing, so he's having a little moment this morning, but he is a super sweet guy. He's not up for adoption right now, but he's going to be coming up in the next few days, so keep an eye out.
Wow, he's a beautiful big cat. And we're not judging appearance. And hot lights, I mean, a lot of people have behaved much worse than Gassy on our set, just because it can be nerve-wracking. Okay, if we need, Leash, you can whisk him away. Gassy's going to go, Leash is going to be back. In the meantime, look at your shirt. Yeah. Love that. Okay, so Gassy will be up soon. Now, I want you to just clear something up before we get to the Love Stinks fundraiser. We were chatting about how Bite Wild had an empty shelter, but that doesn't mean you're empty. Explain that for our viewers.
Yeah, so an empty shelter is something that is commonly perceived when we have no animals for adoption. Recently, that's been happening quite a lot at Bite Wild. We've had a huge demand for adoption increase, or an increase in adoption demand. So we're often seeing no animals available for adoption as everyone has found a home. But just because we have no animals for adoption doesn't mean we're empty. Yeah. At any time, we're caring for 50 to 60 animals in the shelter. So that's looking like our intake being at full capacity, every kennel in there having an animal in it, as well as every dog in our dog room having a kennel.
Well, so this means that you're always very, very busy providing care for these animals to get them ready for adoption, and that's expensive. So that's where the Love Stinks fundraiser comes in. Explain how Love Stinks raises money to care for these wonderful animals.
So the Love Stinks fundraiser is by donation. Yep. And you can give us the name of your most unliked ex or your most loved ex, and we will put it in the bottom of a litter pan, fill it with litter, and let the cats take care of
sending the message.
Sending a message.
I love that. It's been a huge, lots of fun, and it's been very successful in the past, right?
Yeah, this is our 3rd year doing it. So we started a few years ago, and it was a huge hit with everyone in the city and across the province. I think that first year we had about 60 names, and so we've continued doing it. We get messages usually every January, people looking to put those exes' names.
Oh my gosh, they're already anticipating it. That's magical. And the money that you do raise from this is just so creative. And I know that these videos have gone viral that you've sent, so this is great. Getting attention for the shelter and getting money for the shelter. Where does the money go exactly?
It goes fully into, we don't have any government funding at all, so it does go to care for the pets, for vet care, food, water, you know, the heat for the building. It pays for the staff that are in the building to help to care for the pets, as well as the volunteer operation, you know.
It's a big operation.
It really is.
And you do, I know that you have the pet food pantry, you have a low-cost pet spay-neuter program as well. Really, I mean, it's really, how many volunteers do you have at Bite Wild?
Over 250.
Yeah, you would need that.
Yeah, and we have an active board of directors of 14.
Amazing. So let's just say you're happily in a relationship right now, and you don't need to put anybody's name on the bottom of a litter box. How can we help out Bite Wild?
We have some other ways you can take part in supporting the shelter. We're always open for financial donations or donations of pet food to support our pet food pantry. We also have a Porsche for Paws fundraiser coming up in April. It's our signature event. It's happening at Casino Nova Scotia on April 18th. Tickets are on sale now, so you can come have a fun East Coast party night with us at the casino, test out some local favorite drinks, and help support the animals.
Well, wonderful. Thank you both for coming in this morning. Please thank Gassy for us on our behalf.
Yes.
Yeah, we put all the information about Bidawile on our website. We're going to turn our attention over to Latavia now.
Thanks, Crystal. Taking another look at our 3-day for New Brunswick, a high of -3 degrees today. Lots of sunshine across the province. Snow moves in into the evening. On Wednesday, -1 with snow across the province. Then on Thursday, -5 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud with increasing cloudiness into the afternoon. For Nova Scotia, a high of -1, mainly cloudy skies. We do have scattered flurries for parts of the province today. On Wednesday, 0 with snow. And then on Thursday, -3 degrees, cloudy skies with snow yet again. For Prince Edward Island, looking at -5 degrees. Today, we have flurries clearing out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. -3 on Wednesday with snow across the island. Same thing on Thursday with a high of -4.
Still ahead this morning, Safer Internet Day. We'll get tips on how to protect your family while surfing the web. That important conversation coming up in 15 minutes here in the last 30 minutes of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Thank you so much for joining us for the show today. Time now 8:30. And I love Bidawile's fundraiser that's going on. It's so funny.
They're very creative over there. They do great work. Yeah, I just met a cat the other day. Friends of mine have a cat that they adopted from Bidawile. Her name's Athena.
So nice.
Gorgeous cat.
They're so great. Great organization. Always fundraising too. Sam, who's their PR person, she was just here on the set. We were talking, we're going to do the Blue Nose Marathon. And she's going to run the full marathon distance, so that's in May, and is also, of course, fundraising for Bidawile. And they have a team you can join too. Really? So you can get entry into the race and also work and support them, have a great community, and support the organization.
Amazing. Oh, Gassy's leaving the building now. Thanks, everybody, for coming in.
Bye.
Bye.
I was asking about Gassy, and the cat does not have any gastrointestinal issues.
No.
It is that Gassy and Oily came in together. They both have some Alberta ties. That is why the cat's name is Gassy.
Oh, it's all coming together. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yes. Gassy is not a smelly cat at all. No.
Gassy's a vocal cat.
Very vocal, beautiful, so cute. Yeah. So, enough cat chat. Let's talk about weather.
Well, today, pretty much the same as yesterday's forecast, really. We are seeing a bit of sunshine for parts of the region. A bit of a colder start to the day as well. -6 degrees in Halifax early this morning. Colder into parts of New Brunswick, -14 in Fredericton, -4 starting off your day in Charlottetown. Much warmer in Sydney at 0 and into St. John's, Newfoundland. Factor in that wind chill, though, there is that risk of frostbite for parts of northern New Brunswick and into parts of Labrador. We do have a watch in a statement, actually, in effect, a special weather statement for much of Nova Scotia. We are expecting an Alberta Clipper Wednesday into Thursday morning. So for today, as I mentioned, a bit of sunshine and a bit of flurry activity for parts of the Maritime region. Newfoundland, Labrador seeing light snowfall and mixed precipitation. In terms of the wind, a bit breezy today. As of right now, 37 kilometers per hour in Sydney, 35 in Canso. Looking at 28 in Halifax, 22 into North Cape and Charlottetown. Wind gusts of 54 kilometers per hour right now in Sydney, 37 in Halifax, 39 in Charlottetown. We'll take one last look at your forecast just ahead. One last look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Hearings continue today into whether a gas plant near Sackville, New Brunswick should be approved. NB Power execs are in the hot seat at the Energy and Utilities Board hearing, facing questions on why a controversial natural gas-fired generation plant in the Tantramar area is necessary. NB Power says it's because it's facing an energy shortfall by 2028. So they've entered into an agreement with American company Pro Energy, which would build and operate the plant, selling up to 500 megawatts back to the Crown. The panel was asked, Crown Corporation rather, the panel was asked how much it would cost taxpayers to buy back the power. Chief Commercial Officer Brad Cody wouldn't give an exact figure, citing confidentiality, but said the plan itself is estimated to cost Pro Energy over $1 billion to build. So it's likely to cost the utility more than $1 billion. Pro Energy wants the EUB's approvals by June, or it could walk away. This hearing will continue throughout the week. A two-part inquiry is being planned to look into last year's cyber attack on Nova Scotia Power. The Nova Scotia Energy Board says one set of hearings will examine the technical aspects of the March 2025 cyber attack, while a separate investigation will look at how the utility collected and stored customer data and how it estimated bills for months after losing communication with power meters. The cyber attack saw the personal information of 280,000 customers accessed by a Russian-based actor, prompting a slew of complaints about large, unexpected bills. And we're learning more about an error which saw personal Medicare information sent to hundreds of wrong addresses in New Brunswick. The province says 365 people received other people's Medicare information, along with their own, in the mail. On Monday, Service New Brunswick told us the problem was discovered a week ago and limited to a 2-day period. Officials say they started contacting those affected last week. The Office of the Ombudsman says anybody who is concerned about their health information being mishandled should contact that office. There's no question these are challenging times for provincial governments around here. In Nova Scotia, the province's credit rating has been downgraded in response to its deficit. There are calls for spending cuts and fears of job losses. CTV's Jesse Thomas looks at what options are available.
Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston revealed last month that the province's deficit had grown to $1.4 billion, up $100 million more than the last forecasted update in December. The record deficit prompted S&P Global to downgrade Nova Scotia's credit rating, largely based on over-budgeted spending on health care, support for seniors, government salaries, and disaster relief assistance. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation is urging the Houston government to rein in spending.
Governments can't spend money indefinitely. It's going to come back to haunt them, and whether that's through, there's only two ways that can haunt them. It can be service cuts or higher taxes, and I don't think Nova Scotians want either right now.
The Nova Scotia General Employees Union represents more than 8,700 public sector workers and is worried about cuts to the workforce and programming. As the Houston government tries to find savings, the union believes the province is looking at a 10% cut to provincial services.
And we're very concerned about what that cut could mean to very important programs, staffing positions, and the way services are delivered in this province.
The Canadian Taxpayers Federation says the government should freeze all spending outside of healthcare and review all department spending.
And they need to make an honest effort to find efficiencies within government so that we're not seeing, this problem happen year after year and more tax dollars being wasted on big interest payments rather than return to people's pockets through tax cuts or through improvements in service.
The province's finance minister was unavailable for an interview, but a spokesperson did say they're aware of S&P Global's downgrade and are factoring that into their budget preparations. The budget is expected to be tabled later this month. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Jesse. Finally, after 4 years and nearly $4 million, renovations are complete at the West St. John Addiction Treatment Facility. Upgrades were made in 3 phases to 3 buildings at the Ridge Addiction and Mental Health Campus. There are more beds, more options for treatment and counseling, and upgrades like a revamped teaching kitchen and sensory room.
The programs and the services, we used our evidence-based and trauma-informed process to ensure that everything is really designed with the client in mind, and that the services that we're able to offer are really going to meet all of their unique needs and really help them on their recovery path.
And the price tag was split between the province, the Health Authority, and the St. John Hospital Foundation. And that is your last look at your local news headlines on this Tuesday morning.
Last already.
I know.
Wow. Where'd the morning go?
I know.
Okay, everybody, I've got a great idea. We're going to follow in the footsteps of the people in Estonia. They have an idea for a winter marathon that I could get into, a sauna-thon.
Oh.
Yes.
Say that 3 times fast.
So hundreds of people came out for the annual European Sauna Marathon. It turns out the traditional Nordic pastime becomes a competition with a carnival-like atmosphere. The goal is for teams of 4 to race to as many local saunas in the fastest time. There were 21 different saunas and participants who you have to spend at least 3 minutes inside each hot venue. I guess there's some cold venues
pass
too.
out. Sounds great, but I'm like, I think after like the 3rd, I'd probably pass.
I don't know.
You're gonna have to stay
Cold
hydrated.
outside. Yeah, I'm into it.
Running and the sweating and the.
It's warm in there too.
No, that's a cold plunge.
Okay.
That's it. That's so you don't pass
It looks
out.
like Coke.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Diet or zero?
Yeah, it's Coke Zero. It's sponsored by a local soft drink maker.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'd love to do that, but that is not in our region.
No, unfortunately not. Well, we'll take a look at what is. So a perfect way to spend Galentine's Day would be to enjoy a retro film screening at the Imperial Theatre in St. John. This is on Friday, February 13th. They will be showing Miss Congeniality.
Oh, a very good
Oh my
choice,
gosh,
right?
this is a 1 in a million opportunity.
I know, such a good film.
1 in a million.
So this will be this Friday at 7 p.m. For tickets, head over to their website. And Love is in the Air. The seniors' Valentine's Dance takes place this Friday. This will be in Summerside, so you can head over to Parkview Senior Citizens Club to enjoy live entertainment and dancing. The event runs from 7 to 9 p.m. and the admission is $6.
Oh, great.
Yeah, not bad.
That sounds so cute.
I know. And take the roof off of winter with some February fun at the Picto Frost Fest. This is running from Friday until February 16th. You can enjoy activities and events both indoors and outdoors for all ages and abilities. And there will be a Valentine's Day dance, pancake breakfast, skiing, snowshoeing, and afternoon family movie, and more. Head over to their website for additional details. And if you have an upcoming event, please send us the details. We'd love to promote it. Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca.
Oh, I love that. Okay, one final look at the forecast on this Tuesday. Then, important information. We're talking internet safety. It's always changing. So too are the tips. We chat with a member of the RCMP about online safety and what to watch out for on this Safer Internet Day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. The time now is 8:43. Taking a live look at Port aux Basques. It is 2 degrees in your area. Very moody start to the day. Expecting mainly cloudy skies today and also into the late afternoon, early evening. Looking at flurries returning. So it is quite cold for parts of the region early this morning. As of right now, it is minus 14 degrees in Fredericton, minus 4 starting off your day in Charlottetown, minus 6 in Halifax, 0 in Sydney, and into St. John's, Newfoundland. A special weather statement currently in effect for much of Nova Scotia as we expect an Alberta Clipper to make its way over Wednesday into Thursday morning. Could potentially see 10 to 25 centimeters of accumulation. So over to our forecast timeline. Today we are seeing sunshine in the forecast for parts of the Maritime region. Also holding on to a bit of flurry activity into Labrador, looking at some light snowfall. Newfoundland still dealing with some mixed precipitation, a risk of freezing drizzle as well. Into the afternoon, much of the same is expected. Temperatures will rise above seasonal for parts of the region and then start to cool back down for the evening. Increasing cloudiness for much of the region, and we have that low starting to make its way over the Alberta Clipper. It's going to be quite fast moving west to east right across the region. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, starting off at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of the Maritime region, also seeing 1 to 5 for Newfoundland and Labrador. So for our forecast today for New Brunswick, lots of sunshine across the province. We do have that snow moving in into the evening. Daytime highs will range from minus 4 to 2 degrees. And for Prince Edward Island, highs between minus 4 to minus 2. Lots of flurry activity early in the morning, clearing out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud with wind gusts of 50. Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, pretty much the same thing. A few flurries early in the morning, clearing, leaving mainly cloudy skies. Daytime highs between minus 3 to plus 1. For the rest of Nova Scotia, a mix of sun and cloud today, and then snow arrives into the evening, highs between minus 1 to 3 degrees. Labrador City looking at sunshine starting off the day and then increasing cloudiness, leaving mainly cloudy skies into the afternoon. a high of -14 degrees, and then 1 degree into St. John's, Newfoundland. Periods of drizzle expected and also a risk of freezing drizzle. So over to our forecast for Wednesday. Same thing applies, starting off a bit cooler, temperatures rising, for the most part being quite warm into the afternoon for our daytime highs. But we do have the snow tracking across the maritime region, light snowfall for parts of Labrador, and then for Newfoundland, going to see that mixed precipitation yet again. Into early Thursday morning, still dealing with that snowfall, slowly clearing out of the maritime region into the afternoon, but still seeing snowfall for parts of Atlantic Canada and that mix of precipitation, Crystal, for Newfoundland.
Right, it's 8:45. Thank you so much, Latavia. Today is Safer Internet Day, which is an ideal time to have a conversation about what can be done to help people of all ages get better protected. Here to share some tips on how to keep our families safe is Corporal Mandy Edwards with the RCMP Halifax Regional Detachment. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is a really great conversation to have for people of all ages. Let's talk with parents. Start with parents and kids. How can parents broach this topic and talk to the kids about this at a young age without scaring the daylights out of them?
Yeah, well, what better day than today to bring that up? So it's important to start the conversation early and be more curious rather than suggestive, or be as far as guarding the internet. So ask them what they're interested in. Ask them what their friends are doing. Enjoy the apps with them or the applications that they're interested in. Play the games with them. See what they're actually doing online, and then you can get a feel for it, and then you can start talking about things that they might encounter and those safety tips.
That's a great point, actually. Not only you're spending time with your children, but get to see how they use the internet and understand, where problems could arise. That's a really good idea for kids that are old enough to play games. Yeah. I understand you worked for several years in the area of internet child exploitation. What are the biggest risks that kids are facing now?
Well, there's so much technology. Everything is based on the internet. You can't get away from it, and it's instant gratification. So it's, we got to get back to basics. Stranger danger. Strangers are out there on the internet. Things are not what they seem for adults and kids. So just having those conversations and making sure that they're looking at age-appropriate content, that they don't engage with strangers. They should know who they're communicating with if they're playing with friends. The privacy settings should be limited, such as location. The information that they're sharing online, they have to be really cognizant of not giving out too much information. Their school, where they live, their interests. So there's lots of things that parents can discuss with their kids. Yeah,
there's a lot that you said that we could unpack. I love the idea of looking at the child's device and making sure that the settings are set to the highest level of privacy. And you never know who's online.
That's right.
Like someone could be posing as a kid, but they're not a kid. And that's also great advice for adults too.
Exactly.
That you don't know who you're dealing with when you're online.
Yes, you need to have your wits about you. You need to, if something feels weird and uncomfortable, it usually is. So you need to take a pause, especially with posting videos or images. Once you set that image out there or that video, it's gone. It's in the internet world, and you have no control over where it gets shared and who captures it.
We won't have time to touch on this in an entirety, but in general, how is AI making your job more difficult these days?
Yes, AI, you can create anything. You see people's profile pictures that are just incredible. Children, you can just take an image of a child and ask the internet to put them in whatever situation. So it's making it increasingly difficult, but it is AI-generated images are still, if it's of a child, can still be considered child pornography if it's AI-generated, even if it's just an image of a child's face in that situation. So you got to be really careful about the content and what you're looking at online.
Perfect. Now, you said you had some resources to share with people. Can you do that now?
Yeah, so a great resource is cybertip.ca. So it's a place where parents or youth can report if something inappropriate has happened on the internet. For parents who want to just engage with their children more, you can go to the website for the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, and they have worksheets depending on your child's age. So if your child is 5 to 7, age-appropriate context that you should be discussing with them. If they're a teen, what you should be discussing with them, because you want to give them a little bit more responsibility when they're getting older. You don't want to manage them, but you want to mentor them.
Perfect. Well, Corporal Edwards, thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we put all the information, those websites that Corporal Edwards listed, we'll put them on our website to make that easy for you to find and have that conversation starting today. It's 8:50. We'll take a little break. We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
#1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Welcome back. Guess what? We have some wonderful breaking news from Italy. Canada's medal count at the Olympics has risen to 3, and it's thanks in part to a New Brunswicker.
Whoa!
Yeah, Canada won silver in short track speed skating in this morning's mixed team event. So here's the name you need to know. Courtney Soro of Moncton. She's part of a team with 3 others, William D'Angino, Kim Boutin, and Felix Roussel. They finished in 2 minutes, 39.258 seconds behind host Italy, but ahead of Belgium. So that got them in second place. So for Canada, it's the 3rd medal overall at the games and also the 1st silver.
That's awesome.
So far.
So we have a gold, silver, and bronze.
Yes.
Nice.
Yay, yay, yay. Oh, that's great news.
Amazing.
Ah, wonderful stuff.
All right. Also, what's good, too, is the responses to our Move Morning chats. We were asking really spicy food, if you love it, if you hate it, what happened. Here's what you had to say. Nettie from Lower Sackville says, I love Mexican food. While in Montreal, I had Mexican at a local place. The meal was so hot. I yelled for water, but they brought milk. Lactose intolerant.
Oh, no.
Burning at both ends. Oh, boy,
poor Nettie. Yeah, they do say milk is better than water. They were just trying to be nice, but they're like, you're like, no, I asked for water.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting because I don't find Mexican food spicy at all. I find it quite fresh, but yeah, I guess it depends on where you go. LJ from Middleton says, tried wasabi about 20 years ago, and I can still taste it. Not a fan of spice or heat in my food.
That's fair.
Yeah, you never forget your first try of wasabi.
Well, Amanda ate a whole spoonful of it, so.
Yeah, don't recommend that. It's great. I like it in small amounts. Shelly from Truro says, definitely wasabi. My first time trying sushi wasn't pleasant.
Oh, no.
I know, that's the thing. If you got someone tricking or you don't know and you have too much, it's good as a little bit. Like now, I do love wasabi.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I can't have a big old spoonful.
No, I think a lot of people have been tricked into that, like myself included. And then Kyle wanted to try it once. He did it and like passed. He has since passed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's not for everyone, that's for sure. And he likes spice. So.
I love it. Like, I mean, in the right amount because I love horseradish. For me, beef is not beef without horseradish on the side.
Oh.
Love horseradish. But at the Keg, which I don't go to very often, but the Keg's horseradish in-house is so hot. You have it and it just like cleans out. If you have a cold or like stuffy nose, go there and have the horseradish. It will clean it out.
Wow.
Yeah, it really is like amazingly spicy, but yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Oh, we have time for a last laugh. Okay, this is cute. This is just a cute little thing. A bus driver in London brings the vibes to his daily route. So Ricky is a double-deck bus driver in London who brings along a bubble maker on his route to add a little levity to the commute. Passengers get on. Ricky likes to fire up the bubble gun to bring a smile to their faces. So I love this.
That's cute.
He just brings a bubble gun, brings the bubble mixture at his own money. You know, like if you want to do this, bus drivers and communities in our region, please do. Bring a little lightness to the winter.
Yeah.
Love it.
Someone's like, I'm late. Get going.
Get that bubble gun out of my face.
That's if you get someone in a bad mood. Hopefully you turn the mood around.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the hope. Yeah, maybe it'll just enrage the person even more, but then that's on them.
Don't burst my bubble.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's our show all wrapped up with a bow on it on this Tuesday, but we hope you'll join us tomorrow. We'll be here bright and early at 6 a.m. talking about the snow.
Yeah, snow will be a big talk. You know, also have the segment I shot at English Jewelers about Valentine's Day gift ideas. So, yes.
Yeah.
Look at them with the love.
And love. And also a winter reset with Thea. She's going to be back joining on this show. So give yourself a little boost.
Yes, we're also going to talk about the Inspired Gala that's coming up.
Amazing.
But yeah.
Fantastic.
Lots to talk about.
So stay warm. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
Bye.